Hello and welcome back to another quick tutorial by the Alpha team concerning the usage of the Kettering presentation area within the Second Life environment. Over the past 1 or 2 days we've been receiving some questions from students regarding the actual installation procedure and the actual configuration of the Second Life client to connect to the Kettering presentation area. So what we're going to do here is go right from the start and walk you through the actual download and installation of the Second Life client, and then the reconfiguring of the client so that it connects to the Kettering presentation room. So the first thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and download the Second Life client. Uh, there's a number of what we call Second Life client viewers out there. However, the Alpha team has settled upon the viewer created by Second Life itself. It seems to be the most robust and supported tool. So I'm going to go ahead and start up my Internet Explorer. Now, we gave a direct link into the orientation material, and I will show you that right now. And if we look here, under the orientation material, we actually have a link here to download the client. But I'm going to walk you through manually here so you see step by step. So the first thing we want to do is go to www.secondlife.com. And the first thing you'll notice when we get here is we have a Join Now button in the top right. We're not going to do that. We have no need to join Linden Labs Second Life. What we do need from them is their client software which they've written. And you can find that down here near the bottom of the page. So we'll go ahead and click that. And since I'm running on a Windows system, you'll see that it comes up by default with the Windows 2000 XP Vista installation. Myself personally, I am running Windows 7 64-bit, and I'm not seeing any issues with the Second Life viewer. So if you are running Windows 7, you should not be too concerned. If you are running Mac or Linux, you'll also see that there is links for those platforms also. So I'm going to go ahead and download. One other thing before you download, be sure that you check out the minimum specifications that we listed. I want to go back here to my orientation material. In here, we wrote some minimums that you need to have. Otherwise, the Second Life client will not work for you very well. The first thing you're going to need is a internet connection, which must be broadband. It can be cable, DSL, satellite, or whatever. The other thing you need to have is at least Windows XP. You need to have at least an 800 megahertz Pentium 3 or better, and at least 512 megs of RAM. These are the bare minimums. So if your machine is skating very close to these specifications, the client should work for you, but it could encounter some lag. It could be not as smooth as it should be. If you have a machine which has been purchased within the past 2 to 3 years, you shouldn't have any problem at all running this client. So let me go back to my download screen and go ahead and download that. I'm going to tell the Second Life client where to save. And I'm going to pick a spot and hit save. Give it a few minutes to download. It's about 22 megs in size. Once it downloads, I'm going to go ahead and run. When it begins to run, if you're on a Vista or Windows 7 system, the system will ask you for permissions to run this program. Just go ahead and say we trust Linden Labs. Then it's going to come up and ask us the language. English is fine. Next, it's going to ask us the installation directory. The default is usually okay, unless you have a space concern. However, this should be fine for most people. So just go ahead and click install. We'll then give this a minute or two to install. Okay, and once the installation has completed, you'll see a prompt that comes up asking us to start Second Life now. No, you do not need to do this. We are not going to be connecting to the Second Life server. So we're going to say no for now, because in the next step what we're going to do is we're going to actually modify the way the client is connecting, and we're going to actually direct the client to the Alpha Team OpenSim servers instead of to Linden Labs. So let's go ahead and say no. Now after the installation runs, you should see an icon that looks like this that shows up on your desktop. If I go ahead and hover over this icon and right click and hit Properties, you'll see that up here I've got this long string of text in my target. Okay, this is what we're going to actually be modifying to actually tell Second Life where to connect in lieu of Linden Labs. So I'm going to go back to my orientation material, and if we scroll down here to section 4, accessing the Kettering rooms, you'll see that if you read through the instructions, you have to append this line of text, this string of text, to the end of the existing target field. Okay? And it tells you to put a space between the existing text and the new text. So before I do that, and if you're not too confident with your system, what I would recommend is for you to actually cancel out of that and actually make a copy of your original icon. We're going to say right click on that icon, we're going to say copy, and I'm going to say paste. So now we've got two icons. And I can go in here and rename this icon. I can right click and say rename. I can say this is Kettering. Okay, so I can always go back to my original icon and look at the settings if I have to. And the Kettering one is which we'll modify. So let's go back in there, look at the properties. It should have the same target as the original icon did. Now let's go back to our documentation. And we're going to go ahead and select that entire string. We're going to right click. We're going to copy that. Let's minimize. Let's go to this string here, our target string, and let's move the cursor all the way to the end. Okay? And at the very end there, according to the instruction, we need to put a space. So I'm going to put a space. Now I'm going to right click in there, and I'm going to say paste. So now what should have happened is that additional string of text should have been appended to the existing string. And let me just scroll back here and make sure that space got put in there, and no, it didn't. So be aware of that. And after that's done, you can click OK. Once that's set, you should be able to now launch the icon. So we'll go ahead and launch our newly modified Kettering Second Life icon. And we're going to give that a second. And what you should see is exactly what's on my screen. You should see a welcome to the Alpha Team's OpenSim Second Life server. If you do not see this screen, you should go back and look at your connection settings once again and be sure they're correct. Thank you very much.